Okay, then and there it is.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Patty, for reminding me. Okay, so this is, I just want to give you kind of like just a brief tour. This is the American Amazon ad dashboard.
Suzanne, could you click got it? So that, because that's taking in the middle of the screen, it says it's
No, you have to.
No,
you
you
have to
gotta
click
click
it.
it.
Oh,
You
I
have
have
do
to
that.
click
Yeah,
it.
that's not on my
Yes.
screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no worries. So, okay, so if you do decide to do international ads, every let's call it country, Amazon has an entirely different website, an entirely different schema. You have to do all the paperwork to do the ads and everything with each and every one of them. However, all the paperwork is the same. You just have to upload it multiple times, and you will get multiple royalty statements. You will get everything is multiples when you go into different countries, because Amazon operates autonomously in different countries. The way that you can see is, see where my cursor is. See, it says sponsored ads, KDP, United States. When you're in it, they look almost exactly the same, which is kind of confusing. The only difference is you'll see a different flag or a different, like United Kingdom or Canada or Australia, and then there's others in every other country. So there's a lot of different possibilities. The popular ad gurus say, start with, if you are in the United States publishing, start with your home country first and scale up. As I will tell you that I started Amazon ads at the end of 2000, really at the beginning of 2021, I started them wading in. And so it's been about a little over a year. I waited about 8 months, and then I started to do the UK, and then I did a few months after that, I did Canada, and I'm going to do Australia. I will tell you that right now, the reports tell me that about 60% of my sales are in the United States, but the others are in the UK and Canada. So the way I looked at it is, if I didn't do those, that's 40% of my sales that I wouldn't get. You know, I've stuck with only English speaking countries, though, you know, because I don't want to translate. Even though you don't have to, but I figure that would be easier. Okay, so just to give you a quick guided tour, this is the campaign dashboard. There's a lot of other stuff here, which, you know, is a little more, but basically this tells you, this is how many impressions, sales. You can, this metric at the top, you can modify that, and you can modify the column metric at the bottom.
Suzanne, let me interrupt you for a second.
Yes.
Where on Amazon do you find, like, I've got some ads that I can't seem to locate. So I must be doing something. Is there, like, I just noticed this is Amazon ads campaigns. Is that where you find it?
Well, look at advertising.amazon.com. Okay. Advertising.amazon.com. You have to sign up. And if you've got ads out there, it'll tell you, because all the ads are listed here. Right now, I have 227 ads on the US. Typically, I've not always been really diligent about this. Everything about Amazon is about the algorithm, which everybody has a slightly different opinion of how it works. However, the one thing that most people do say is the more you feed the algorithm, the better you are. So the ad gurus that I listen to say that you should try and post ads weekly, or they say weekly. I actually sometimes do bi-weekly, but weekly, 1-2 ads per book. Unless you're launching, then you should try and do more. At the first month of launch, you should try and do 3 or 4 ads per week. Otherwise, 1 or 2 after that, because you want to get a big launch. You can also put advertisements in on pre-ordered things. Pre-orders, I've tried it. I made a mistake early on, and I was put into Amazon jail for a year on pre-orders because I didn't understand their timing system, and I was like 5 minutes late on putting a pre-order or downloading a book, so they put me in Amazon jail for a year. But I actually talked to the guy, and I said I actually got an early out, because I called Amazon. I said, can you take, can I get out of jail free here, and so they allowed me to do pre-orders. And the guy told me, you really don't worry about it. He said, if that ever happens again, just give me a call and we'll fix it for you. I'm like, oh, okay. So
Okay, define pre-orders.
Pre-orders, before you launch a book, up to 1 year, you may put in a pre-order. Now, where the pre-order is, I think, the most effective is in a series. So in other words, let's say Patty, who's going to launch her book in July. Okay. Let's say Patty has already planned a next book. I don't know if you have, but just let's pretend. All right. So what you need to do is put a pre-order in right before you launch the book, and this for the next series. And this is why, because you can put the link for the pre-order at the end of the book. And this is, of course, Kindle. You can do it in a paperback as well, but they can't click a link on a paperback. They can dial it in. But the idea is that you get people right when they're hot and they're interested, you get them to buy the next book, to pre-order the next book. And the thing that it does for you is the pre-orders. I mean, first of all, that gets people interested in a serial. And secondly, the thing it does for you is Amazon likes pre-orders. The algorithm likes it. And when the algorithm is happy, it helps your ranking, it helps your sales, it helps Amazon put your book ahead of others. It helps a lot of stuff. So it's a good idea, and this is what. So you can advertise pre-orders as well, although you only do like one every other week or something. You don't put a lot of effort into that. I know we're going to glean over a lot of things, and we could always, like, next week revisit, or tell me what do you want to spend more time on. Okay. Because there's a lot that goes into all this, and I'll get distracted. So don't let me. The one thing I want to mention about this dashboard is it affects impressions and clicks. Spend obviously is pretty self-explanatory. Sales, that looks pretty dismal, but it's really not. You should be getting a ratio. The best ratio that I've heard of is clicks to impressions is about, and I'm going to use the wrong math because I'm really bad at math, but it's like 1 to 100 type thing. So for 70,000 impressions, you should be getting around 70 clicks. So I'm about right. So that's good. And that's not always the case, believe me. KENP total is your, that's what they call the page reads. I don't really know exactly what that all stands for, but that's the page reads. Now here's what I'm.
Okay, what's their definition of impressions?
Impressions is, and there, it's not my definition. This is Amazon's definition.
No, that's.
Impression is when, let me go to Amazon really quick and I can show you. Impression is, let's go to a book. I should have a bunch of them at the bottom here. Let's go to a book. Okay, here, we'll just go to one of mine. Okay, impression is when somebody, and let's see, well, let's say this is it, okay? This is a sponsored ad, okay? So I put in my book, and let's say I'm a customer and I come across this book. This is a sponsored ad. So that's an impression, okay? Your sponsored ad, and that's what you do on this, shows up on their sales page, okay? It's only one at a time, but it rotates, like a carousel.
So of all these books here, you're going to appear on each one of them intermittently.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is so somebody put an ad, and they might have used my book or my name or the series name or any of those things as a possible keyword. And that's why their book shows up on my page. So this is an impression. If I clicked on it, which I won't do because that would cost them money, but if I click on it, that's a click. Okay, so I look at this and I say, oh, this drift. This is a pretty piss poor ad, by the way. So this is really a lousy example. That's unfortunate. Maybe we'll get a different one later. So that's an impression. So an impression is somebody has the opportunity to get to your ad, to get to your book. And you have that brief opportunity to sell them on why they should click. So it's just like anything else, a radio ad, anything else, except for you have the opportunity to click and learn more right away. And so you have that opportunity to garner their interest. Now that ad, if we look at it, is horrible. I mean, first of all, you can barely see anything. It shows the series name and the title, and it shows how many, the price, and it shows how many reviews they have, which is a lot. Now that alone,
That is a lot, yeah.
could, for people who believe in reviews, that could get you to look at it. But the popular, and I don't know this person, and this person could be a very popular person. And if they are, then, but my guess, and I don't know if this has happened yet, my guess is this may be a large publisher author, but maybe not. Large publisher authors have never, I don't know if it just started or if they will just start, but a regular publisher has not been able to do Amazon ads yet. This just started. So it's either just starting or just started. I can't remember the exact date. So this is your dashboard. Okay. I will tell you one thing. Ignore the specificity of this bar graph. Ignore it completely. And this is why I will tell you this. Don't look at the dates. Don't look at anything. It will not match up to anything else on your buys, on your other reports. This is one of the big problems people have with Amazon. Not the biggest problem right now, but one of the biggest problems is this dashboard is 2 to 3 weeks delay on sales, impressions, usually maybe, and clicks maybe, but for 100% sure, it's 2 to 3 week delay on sales and on page reads. The spend is dollar to dollar. It has the same idea with why Amazon charges you this month for ads that you buy this month, ad spend, and it takes them 45 days to get you your royalties on things spent today, purchases. So it has to do with the fact that they're more important than they're getting their money than giving you your money. So that's,
Of course.
it's just the way it is. All right. So like I said, I don't spend any time even looking at this graph because I know that my page reads, and I'll briefly show you why. So this is for this month only. This is the KDP beta report. And if I go to month to date, that's not good. You have to go through separate. I've got 12 orders and my KENP is 530 pages. So you can see that this is from Amazon, same statistics are completely different. So that's why ignore that. The important thing is when you're analyzing your ad and putting in ads, you want to make sure that you see what you want to see. Impressions, I want to see impressions by the ads so that I can look at them and say, okay, what's doing, and what I usually do is I just click, works like a regular spreadsheet in Excel. So I just click on all my, and from largest to smallest, and see, okay, which of my ads are delivering more? What am I getting more impressions on? What am I getting more clicks on? What am I, what's spending more, what's spending not, orders, and then page reads. So that's the way I look at it. You can click on each column. You can change the columns in your, I don't want to do that too much because I don't want to change mine, but you can customize your columns on that button. And I can even hide the chart if I wanted to, which I actually like to do. But I put it up for you guys. So you can do show or hide chart. Like I said, I ignore the chart completely because it's so delayed. You can't compare apples to apples. You can also, if you have multiple genres or multiple series like I do, you can create portfolios with each of them. And just very briefly, you can set budgets for each month on your portfolios so that you can limit your spending. You can change those at any time. It's supposed to notify you when you're at 80% of your budget. I have found that it doesn't do that. So you have to stay on top of your ads. You know, I have to look in on them at least once a week because sometimes your ad spend does get too high. $1 is the one that I put my Christmas book because I only advertise that at Christmas time. So, but I've been told don't archive your ads, put your dollar spending at $1. If you want to pause something, don't pause your ads. It apparently puts you at the bottom of the rung on the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't like that. But anyway, I know I'm throwing a lot of information. Let's look at the ad thing itself. So we're gonna just make an ad. Okay. And hold on. So you hit create campaign. There's 3 kinds of things that you do. Now, again, there are different opinions out there. Remember that this is not just for book people. This is for people that sell vacuum cleaners and hair dye and everything else. It's exactly the same for everyone who advertises on Amazon. As far as there's 3 kinds. There's sponsored products, there's sponsored brands, lock screen ads. Lock screen ads are for Kindle. And apparently when you open up your Kindle, I don't have one, but if you open up your Kindle, see this part in the orange is an ad. I've been told lock screen ads are extremely expensive and extremely ineffective. So don't do them.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any sales on mine.
Yeah, I've been told don't even bother, they're not worth anything. Sponsored brands is when you've got a brand that you're trying to, you know, let's say you're, you know, I don't know, vacuum cleaner guy. What is it? Shark vacuums. Let's say you're Shark vacuums and you have multiple products, but you want to advertise your brand more than your individual products. That's where you do that. I know how to work for that because quite frankly, everybody says authors should only use sponsored products. So you continue on that and you come up with your ad thing. So it does a time and date stamp on each ad. I keep that in because I like that because it reminds me when I created an ad, and it will also feature into the dashboard if I want to see when ads were created and things like that. I can use that. So I keep that. And then you're supposed to put in some kind of name for your ad. The way I do it is I put the book, which I'm going to do this book, and then I put what kind of keywords I'm going to be using or what kind of ad I'm going to be creating. So there are several kind of things that you do ads. There's an auto ad, okay, an automatic where you allow Amazon to target automatically. You just give them complete reign. I've been told to only do that once, and it's the first ad I put in when I put in any book. Manual targeting is where you get most of the action. It just depends though. There's no wrong. And the way you manual target is you use that several things. First of all, you target categories. Okay. And we'll do one of those. And secondly, you target keywords. You never target ASINs, ASINs. Never, because they are much more costly in the bidding process and they don't get you the kind of return on investment that you should be getting. They're just too costly. So you'll either never get the bid, which is a waste of time and energy, or you'll get the bid and you won't get as much bang for your buck. So I usually put what I'm going to do. So let's do a category ad first. So I just call it cat. Now I used to do like cat 1, cat 2, cat 3, cat 4, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that anymore because I realized with the time and date stamp, it'll never be the exact time and date stamp. So I don't have to worry about that then, you know? But you can make it anything you want. I mean, there's lots of characters left. You can do whatever you want. Some people do series. Some people, it's what in your mind, your filing system in your head, what's personally good for you. That's all. Portfolio, I have different portfolios just because it's easier for me to manage my dashboard that way because I can just push. I want to see all of my romance ones. I want to see all my mystery ones. It's just easier for me to do that. And then also you can budget per portfolio. So this is the my MG book, and that's called Grow Up. You put an end date. Now this is interesting. Amazon is telling everybody to do what's called evergreen ads. So leave them with no end date, which is an option. However, the ad gurus that I listen to say, don't do that. It's a trap. They like to do that because Amazon ultimately is out for their own money. Okay. They have said that they test ads, and in their testing process, they advise you to do 2 weeks at a time. Okay. And the reason is because the Amazon bots look at that and say, ooh, we're not going to get any money out of this unless we serve these ads. If they're evergreen, they have the whole universe of time to serve the ads. So it's an urgency thing. So they say, don't do like 1 week or 1 day or something like that, because it's not going to be fooled by that. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, less than a month is their hot spot. Okay. The only thing you have to do is you have to make sure that you're very prompt about renewing those ad dates. If you do them every 2 weeks, like I have a ticker sent on my phone to remind me on the 31st or the 30th, the last day of the month, and on the 14th, I need to renew all my ads, which is super easy to do. It takes me literally 10 minutes to do all of them. But this is very important, because if your ad date expires, then then again, your ad stops and you get sent to the bottom of the line, you know? So you just need to stay at the top of the line. So in this, and here's the thing, I stayed with a strict, it's also just to keep my brain straight, 15th of the month on all my ads. So if I was doing this ad and it was like, let's say the 13th, I would go out to the 30th probably. But since it's only the 7th, I'll only do the 15th. Daily budget, the recommendation is that you do $5 a day. Now this is completely up to you, but you don't want to do too much, or you don't want to do too little. Too little and your ad won't serve, too much and you might spend too much. So this is what they say is the sweet spot, but you can do anything you want.
But if you're only making $4 on a book and you're doing $5 a day, if you don't sell at least 2 books in a day, you're actually losing money.
But right, remember, this is a budget maximum. The chances of you spending all that money in 1 day is infinitesimally small. Okay, because and we'll get to that with the bid. So remember that, Mark, when you look at the bid, because the calculation, it's kind of like your safety point. I know I have X money to spend. I want to spend X money. You will not spend that $5 ever a day on an ad, on an individual ad. You will not. And a lot of people will say, oh, I only want to spend $1 a day because I want to be sure. But you don't do that. And the reason is because some ads serve better than others. So you don't want to limit yourself too much on an ad that's doing well. That's why you look at it every week and you kind of like just check it out and see what's going on real fast, you know? So there's 2 kinds of targets. Again, targeting is what you're trying to appear on somebody's sales page. Like this one appeared on my sales page. So what are we targeting? Automatic, again, is where Amazon will automatically target your ads. Amazon, it's kind of like shooting a dartboard with blindfold. Okay, I'll tell you, sometimes they do really, really well. And sometimes they really do not do really, really well at targeting. So I only do 1 automatic ad just to test it. And if I like it, I can do more. Manual targeting is what we'll do. Manual targeting will automatically set you to dynamic bids down only, which means you're putting a bid in X cents. I bid X cents on these particular keywords. If for some reason that keyword is less money, I don't want to spend all of my cents. I want to spend what they charge. So we're going to use 39 cents for this, but let's just say it's a 15-cent ad. Well, I don't want to spend 39 cents if it only costs me 15 cents. Okay. So you always set it at dynamic down only. Manual automatically does that. Now it didn't always do that. So always be aware, because Amazon changes things a lot. And sometimes, so you got to be aware of what you need to do. And like up and down means that they're always trying to get you to spend more money. So up and down is I will go down, but I will also go up. You don't want that, because then that takes you out of the driver's seat. And fixed bids you don't want to do, because you're going to use the exact bid to the penny that you say. You don't want to do that. because then you're going to be missing out on opportunities. Okay. So there's two kinds of ad formats you can use: the custom text ad and the standard ad. With the standard ad, you don't get any text. That's what we saw here. This is a standard ad. No text. You know, there's nothing to say what I like about this. And I'll show you that at the bottom here. Okay. Oops, wait a minute. Let me take that off. So a standard ad looks like that. A custom text ad, you want to do a custom text ad almost all the time. You get to choose one cover, and these are all your covers. You have to choose one. So if you're having an ebook and also a paperback, you have to choose one. So usually what I do is I do one ebook and one paperback each week for each book. Okay. So we're just going to do this one for right now. Okay. So that shows up. Now I go to the bottom. I'm just showing you guys this. I always go from top to bottom. So now remember this ad. Okay. So this is what it looks like, but this is what the sponsored ad looks like to me. Okay. So when I put something in, I create all these hooks right away when I have a book, and I just use them. You have 100 and it used to be 130 words. Now you get 150 words. So I have all these put into Word, and I just toggle back. And then I just copy and paste them in. It's just easier. Okay. So this is too long. So, what do I usually do? It's individual characters. So I'm okay now. Although they don't let you spell wrong. I tried that once before. I got nailed on that one. Amazon says, your ad has not been accepted because there are misspellings. Okay, fine. So you can see that when you put any words here, it populates here. And this is what my sponsored ad will look like here. If I was targeting this book and it came up, this is what it would look like. This is what mine would look like. It shows reviews. It shows the name. It shows my name. It shows sponsored. It shows the cover. It has what we call a little blurb, little ad blurb. It says how much, and it says what edition it's in. So that gives a lot more information that could potentially interest persons. Right here, the only thing that gives me pause is, you know, if I know this book, this doesn't even say the name of the author, which is kind of strange. And that's why I think it's a publisher ad, because these are new. It doesn't give that much information. So does that give enough information to draw the person in? The text is an ad. I mean, you know, when you're writing advertising, you certainly wouldn't, you know, want to show a commercial that shows buy me and then it's off. You know, you want to show everything you are to get them to entice to click on it and especially buy it. Okay. Questions on that? The way you do, you've got, is it 130 or 100 and used to be 130?
150.
It's 150 now. They just raised it.
Yeah.
Which never
Yeah,
seems
it's set
like
underneath
enough.
there.
So
It's set underneath there, 150
did it?
words.
Yeah. So it's,
Yeah.
and it's actually not words, it's characters. It's individual characters. And
Oh,
also,
okay.
by the way, you can't, I was trying to skip the spaces and crunch some of the words together if they, you know, without it looking gobbledygook. I tried to eliminate commas. I've tried everything to get an extra character or two here and there. And Amazon nails you on pretty much everything. The bots are working overtime. So the way I've been taught to do blurbs is this. You say who you're, because you only have a very limited amount of characters. You say who, what, and why. So who your character is. They don't recommend you use names. I disagree with them on that. So especially on middle grade. So I use names as an identifier, but they say not to. So on middle grade, I completely ignore them. But so what, who is Katie? What is, she's the first in her class to get her bra, and what are her consequences for that? You know, she, you know, and what happens? So what the problem is in book terms, what, you know, who's my protagonist? What is my What is my plot, essentially, my plot point? What's my climax and what are my consequences? Consequences are a big thing and you always want to have them at the end. This one is how can she get through middle school? How? You know, you always want to have your consequences as a question mark at the end, because it's kind of like the idea is it entices them to buy. Okay. Now, like I said, normally I go through this top to bottom, but I'm just jumping around a little bit for you guys. So that's the ad format, custom text versus standard ad. The only time I use a standard ad is if you do the auto ad, because you don't have a choice then. Okay, so you've got that. Now, manual targeting. You have two options, keyword targeting or product targeting. Product targeting, and this confused me at first, is not other books. You would think other books would be products, right? They're not for this term.
I found that out.
Yeah, well, yeah. So products are Amazon product, which are only including categories. Okay. So when you target keywords, we'll get to that in a second. Products are categories. Now, recently, the ad gurus that I listen to have decided, because they test these things a lot, at least this is what they say, and I believe them, that when you target categories, you want to target one at a time. And the reason is because the more successful your category is, matching with your book, matching with your impressions, yada, yada, the more successful the ad will be and the more that the bots will serve it. Okay. So they recommend doing one. I amend that slightly, and maybe I shouldn't, maybe I shouldn't, but if there is a category, because some of the times the Kindle categories and the paperback categories are like real similar, but not exact. We're not going to get a suggestion for this, but so if there's a category that's almost exactly the same and the only difference is Kindle versus books, I will put those in one ad. You don't have to. You can do it anything you want. You can put more in one ad and whatever. But if you're trying to do 2 ads a week on each book, you need to have more ads. And so this is a way to do that, okay, with categories, because categories does not penalize you for one at all, you know, for the least amount. So when you do categories, all you do is Amazon will give you suggestions. How nice are they? That's nice. Okay, so if we like their suggestion, we will pick this. But before, and this is the tricky part of ads, this is the part that they don't tell you. You need to put in your bid. Okay. So for example, it says that the suggested bid is 10 cents, but it will range from 2 cents to 39 cents. Don't listen to a word they said about suggested bids. Forget about suggested bids. Don't ignore it completely. Okay. That's Amazon's way to trick you and try and get you to spend money. The ad gurus say you need to put in custom bid. Now, see, if here, they're telling me it's a 10 suggested bid, but if I do custom bid, they default it to 75 cents. Well, gee, that's trying to milk me out of some money. So you get rid of that. You need to put in, their recommendation is for series, you put in 39 cents unless it's kids. For adult books, which I hate that. I wish I had a different word for that. For adult books, 39 cents a series is usually the sweet spot. Kid books is 25. So that's what I put in, 25 cents. Now, here's the tricky part. You have to do custom bid, and then you have to do default bid. Same. You don't have to do suggested bid, but you do custom bid and default bid. Because if you don't, and I learned this lesson the hard way, I forgot to do that. And all of a sudden I was getting $1.50 and all this other stuff per click. And I'm like, whoa. My ad spend was going bananas. So I said, well, what did I do? What did I do? And then I figured out, I'm like, oh, dummy. So yeah, you have to do these two so that you make sure that it always comes up the bid. So then you just add this and there it goes. 25 cents. I'm good. Everything's fine. And then I can do my ad. You can also search on certain things. When you search on, like, this, because I use this a lot, so this comes up, but you can search on, certain categories. Some of the categories that you're putting in because you've already had to do that when you selected your first 2 categories and ultimately your 10 categories that you asked Amazon to put your book in. So you already have at least that, and if you do 10 Kindle and 10 paperback, you've got 20 category ads that you can already use, right? So you just do those one at a time or what have you. Amazon sometimes makes suggestions and you can do searches. You always search the last, so like the category, see the version, Audible, blah, 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 and teen, you can't even see the whole thing. The last word under the last slash, this is what it says when I click on it, teen fiction on difficult situations. So you can do that, bullying, you can use different categories. If you were going to do a mystery, cozy mystery, mine populate a lot because I, use it. And then, it'll give you, okay, here's these, the categories, religious mysteries, erotic mysteries, religious, historical mysteries, things like that. So it will help you out a little bit if you haven't done the work. And once in a while, it'll surprise you and it'll give you a new category. So it's worth it just to kind of explore that a little bit. And then we'll do this negative in a minute. And then you just click launch campaign and that's how you do it. I don't want to do any category ads because I've done all the categories on this so far. So there are 3 different kinds. The other kind you do is the keyword. Okay. Now, keywords, you're going to do more keyword ads than you're going to do anything else. And there's several kinds of keywords. There's, first of all, actual phrases and words. Okay. So for example, let me go to my spreadsheet. I have my spreadsheet for each book set up in these little things. I'm a spreadsheet geek, so I love spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. They're so good for me. So what I do is when I first come out with a book, when I first start to advertise it, I create my categories. So these are my categories. I must have this in a separate ad. This book is an older book and I've done several spreadsheets on it, so it's not as good as my others. Where's this one I put up? This is a better one because this one is my new system, so it's a little more refined. So here's my categories. Okay. So here's all mine, and I color code them based on what I've used and what I haven't used and things like that. Keywords.
This hasn't changed. Suzanne, I don't see what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to click on that now. I forgot screen sharing. All right, let me stop this share and then I'll screen share that. I'm sorry. Thank you, Patty. Okay, so this is my spreadsheet.
Okay.
So I categorize all my keywords and categories, all my food for the ads is what I call it. All my food I put on the spreadsheet. So I put, the first thing I do is I put down all my categories, not only to contact Amazon and get more categories, but also to use for ads. Then I do keywords, and I'll show you that one with this, because the keywords on this one are better. Oh, maybe not. Like I said, I changed my method throughout because I learn new things, so I change my methods as I learn new things. So I've got the categories, authors. So here's my list of authors. You want to target authors, you want to target book titles, you want to target book series and key actual words and phrases and categories. So there's a lot of food. There's a lot of food for them. Okay.
When you say target authors, are you targeting authors that write similar to what you do? Is that what the whole thing is?
Everything is, I target everything in that similarity. So the best serve ads are ads that seem to match what they say in the algorithm. Okay. So in other words, you don't want to, some people try and be sneaky and say, well, I know that Harry Potter is a really popular book, so I'm going to target Harry Potter. Okay. But if you write bloody gutty thrillers, that ain't necessarily Harry Potter. So you're
Right.
not matching apples with apples. I mean, the first rule of marketing is, who is your target audience? So you want to know who your target audience is, and you want to know what your target audience reads that is similar to what you're writing. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, but it should be at least in the same genre category, maybe the same subgenre. So you collect those, and I'll get into that in a second. But this is what I use for, and I use the spreadsheet because it has all these nice little features, and everybody, a lot of people I know use the spreadsheets. It also keeps them categorized for me. I color code them. As I collect more keywords, I color code them based on what I've used and what I haven't used. And it's just my own little color coding system. Black means I haven't used them yet. Red means I've used it in all 3 international ad categories. And then I have sometimes, like, blue means I've used it in Canada, but I haven't used it in the UK. So I have my own system. Some people say you don't need to worry about duplicating ads too much. But some people say you should absolutely worry about targeting the same stuff too much. So that's a little difference of opinion. I am erring on the side of caution for right now, and I am just trying to keep track of if I accidentally put to more than one author and more than one ad, I'm not going to sweat it, but I try not to. And so I just categorize them this way. And then the good thing about doing this is because it makes, when you do the ad, so much faster, because you can just copy. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to paste it into the ad, which I cannot do because of the screen sharing thing that we're doing. So, so anyway, and then I have books, and these are all the books that I have. And like I said, I spend about a couple of days before I even launch a book, just doing my research and getting all my likes. And there's several ways you can do that, but I have a lot of them for this. Cozy Mystery is very popular, and you get lots and lots and lots of keywords for that. So it's easy. And then regular keywords. Now, regular keywords can be anything. Now, you do your 7 keywords when you publish a book, right? So it's just more of those. Now, keywords, there's a lot of different opinions about how to use actual words and phrases for keywords. The prevailing wisdom now is use phrases, don't use individual words. So if you had, for example, middle grade bullying books, you would want to say middle grade bullying books. You would not want to say middle grade bullying. Right now they think the Amazon algorithm likes phrases more than it likes words. Okay. You can also augment those word phrases. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take prefixes and add them to all the words. So let's use our example of middle grade bullying books. Okay. You can also turn that into middle grade books about bullying, teen books about bullying, tween books about bullying, girls books about bullying, boys books about bullying. You get the idea. You can augment your phrases with adding and subtracting different prefixes or other things. And soon you have this huge keyword list. The other thing you can do is, and this I had some success with, is you can't do it forever, but you put new in front of it. New middle grade book about bullying. New, you can't be new forever. So you just got to remember to get rid of that ad eventually. But, because, if you've been up there for 5 years, people are going to go, this isn't new. You can use the current year, 2020, new 2022 books about, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to come up with the ways that people look for books. So let me go back to the other screen share for a minute. And we'll go back to this one. Ooh, shoot. Okay. So how do you get the words? There's lots of ways. There's this thing. There's this thing that I bought, which a lot of people recommended, called Kindlepreneur. It's like Kindle and Entrepreneur. It's together. Publisher Rocket is really what it's called. It was $97 for a lifetime subscription, and which I thought was a pretty good deal. It's a automatic program that you put something in, and it tells you, if I put in middle grade books about bullying, it'll give me lists of books, which come with, of course, the author. So there you go, two strike with one. And then it'll tell you, it also gets into a lot of things. It'll tell you how many book sales they've had in a month, how much, there's all kinds of different things with Kindlepreneur, but it's a place to get things. Another place that they tell you to get things is Amazon itself. So now I'm not in incognito, and I'm afraid if I do that here, I'm going to mess with you guys. So when everybody's shopped at Amazon, right? Amazon has these things called this is called a carousel. Okay. Products related to this item. There's also ones that are called also bots. Let's see if we can get down to that. No, maybe not. Customers who bought this item also bought. It's all the way at the bottom. So there's multiples of carousels. Customers who viewed this item also bought, So what you want to do is you want to go through these and just find ones. Now, I will tell you that this is not foolproof. You will see once in a while some, here's a cozy mystery, and you'll see some, like a cooking book. No, that's not right. So,
I've seen
yeah,
I've seen insect repellents.
Yeah. So you have to look,
and,
you have to scroll through them. And a lot of times the covers will tell you, or, the very little information. You can also click on them. But you just kind of go along and you copy and paste. Now, there's another thing. Can everybody see this little thing that looks like a Pokemon in my corner here?
Mhm.
This is an add-in that you can use. It's called Instant Data Scraper. It works sometimes. Sometimes I don't use an Instant Data Scraper with Amazon a lot. It depends. It will scrape everything that's on the page and give it to you in a Excel format, which is nice, but sometimes I end up weeding out more than I take. So I kind of just, use it and, play with it and see what I like. But a lot of times I'll just sit there and I'll just copy and paste. It has hyperlinks, so that's the risk. But so you want to use the ones customer who bought this item also bought, customer who viewed this item also viewed. But if you're doing this at the very beginning, nobody's probably bought your book because it hasn't, so you can also look at other people's books. So if I'm targeting a book that's very similar to mine, let's say this one, I can go into this one and I can use their also bots. If I think it's extremely similar to mine, I can use their also bots. And you just scroll down until you find them. Now, the also bot carousel is a little finicky sometimes. Sometimes you can find it and sometimes you can't. If you can't find that, I do use the product related to this item. I just look at it very carefully and make sure they are in fact products related to my item, So that's one place you can get them. The other place you can get them is Publisher Rocket. Another place you can get them is a place called Goodreads Listopia. And let's see, I should have put this up already. Where to find it? You guys see it? Listopia. I'll just put it in. Okay, so Goodreads is a social media kind of thing for book people. Listopia is their back door. And essentially you can put in search lists. So if I wanted to list cozy mysteries, okay, it'll give me lists. Oops, search. It'll give me all the lists of cozy mysteries best crime and cozy mystery books. They have them by subgenre. You can really drill it down. Best historical mystery, literary mysteries, cozy mystery series, cozy mystery books. Anyway, they'll give you a list of the top ones. This, I do use the instant data scraper for. It's very, very helpful on Listopia. I don't find it super helpful on Amazon all the time. It just depends. Okay, so that's 3 potential places, and I will give you a 4th. Go back to Amazon and you type in top 100 cozy mysteries. And this is top 100 in Amazon cozy mystery books. Okay. And it will give you the top 100, and you can use the data scraper on this because it's a list that goes up and down. But again, you need to look at them. I've found anomalies in there that, if I'm in a cozy mystery, and a lot of times you can tell from the cozy mysteries typically look like this. They're typically vector file covers. This is not a cozy. Vampire for Hire is not a cozy mystery. Is not. I do not know why this does this, but I have been told that if you see it's a 00 like this, see 000 this costs money. Sometimes Amazon serves people that are doing Kindle countdown deals, free books on the top 100 lists of all of them. So that's why I say you got to be careful. This is obviously also not a cozy mystery. This, Think and Grow Rich, not even a fiction book. So this list I use sparingly because to me, I spend more time being inaccurate than being accurate, So I don't use this one a lot, but some people will say best-selling cozy mysteries. And the good thing is this is the deep Amazon itself, especially the carousel, is the deep dive. This is your bottom, even though it doesn't seem like it, it's a bottomless pit of keywords for you, because you do your book first, or you do a book that's similar to your book. Let's say I look at this and go, hey, that's very similar to what I'm doing. Now, this is interesting that these have Velas on here. That's very interesting. Anyway, Vela is a new thing, but I'm just kind of looking at that. So let's say I like this one. Okay, maybe I have a cozy mystery about pets. I like this. And so I look at this book and say, okay, first thing I look at is this a series? Okay, this is book 1. Let's say this is book 10. I can get all those books. I look up all the books, then I get them all in there. Because if it's a series, chances are it's very similar. I also do the Ginny Reese mysteries. So that's a keyword, Ginny Reese mysteries. So you point to that. An Embarrassment of Itches. That's the name of the book. Okay. And now if it just said a cozy mystery, I'm not going to bother with that keyword. That's kind of superfluous. But an animal lover's cozy mystery, I might use that keyword. So there's a lot so that's where you get all the different keywords. And see here, we see another ad, and this is a book set. Maybe in book sets, you're not allowed to use phrasing, an ad phrases in book sets, because it's the second one that we've seen. Anyway, I don't know that. Okay, let's go back to our ad. Now, I'm going to use, just so I can show you guys how to do this, I'm going to use my keyword targeting. Now, here's yet another, but it's usually a one-off. I'm going to, did I already put that in? No, that was for the other. I'm going to, oops, don't forget the point. And default bid, even though it says 25, I don't trust. After that happened, I never try. I double, triple check these things. Okay. So this is our keywords. So remember when we did categories, Amazon had some suggestions. Now, like anything else, some of Amazon's suggestions are good. Some of Amazon's suggestions suck. I mean, am I going to use girl as a keyword? No, I'm not going to use girl as a keyword. That's stupid. They will suggest to you in this sometimes names of books, sometimes they're pieces of your book, like 6th grade. Am I going to keyword 6th grade? No, I'm not going to do that. Puberty book, that one's pretty good. I might use that one. Period books for young girls, I'll probably use that one. You know, certain things like that. This Raina, whatever her name is, I know that she happens to be an author that I target a lot, so I might use her. You know, they will suggest things, and you can absolutely take some of their suggestions, or you can ignore all their suggestions. Okay, so you go down and up and whatever. So you can put those in. Now, there's 3 kinds of match types. Match type: broad, phrase, and exact. So example of broad would be celebrate your body, girls. So if somebody put in celebrate girls, it would probably come up. Celebrate your body, it would probably come up. You get the idea. It's a broad of anything that's in there. And then there's phrase. So phrase would be celebrate your body without girls. Okay. You know, anything like we use author names. If I use my own name, Suzanne Rudd Hamilton books, or just Suzanne Rudd Hamilton. Suzanne Rudd Hamilton books is a phrase of Suzanne Rudd Hamilton. Okay. So if I use a phrase and it goes Suzanne Rudd Hamilton books, then it'll take that keyword from me. So it's like getting a bonus. Exact is exact. 100% spelled exactly the same, everything exactly the same. Oh, and this is a comment too. At one point, I heard somebody say, you should misspell things because people misspell things all the time when they put things in the search mechanism. Then somebody else said, don't bother with that because Amazon will automatically correct it if it's either broad or phrase. So I use on keywords and books, I use broad and phrase. I don't use all 3. You can use all 3 if you want. Just different opinions. This is when there's a lot of different opinions. So you can add this and you can add this and you can add all 3. Or what I do is I do broad and phrase when it comes to keywords or books. And when it comes to authors, I use phrase and exact. Just because authors are a little more exact, right? So I want to use phrase for if it's a books, but if it's like J.K. Steubenville or J.K. Rowling, I don't want to use broad because I don't want J.K. Steubenville. People's names are too similar. So I don't use broad for the authors. I use phrase and exact. So you just add those, add, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Another way is enter list. Okay. In this way, I take my Excel spreadsheet and I copy. And where's my thing?
Suzanne, I gotta run.
Okay.
I'll catch you, but thanks for all the information. This has been good.
No problem. And then I paste it
Okay.
right in. And then you just say add keywords and it adds them. You can also remove them or you can remove them individually. I will tell you, Amazon is picky about comment. They hate punctuation on these. So you have to take out all the punctuation. There is a special thing called Amazon ad cleaner upper or something like that. It has a word. It's not that hard to go, okay, here's a comma, goodbye comma, you know, it's not that hard. So I just do it that way. You know, they don't like commas. They don't like colons. They don't like semicolons. They don't like apostrophes. And they don't like, what else? Oh, and parentheses. You can't have parentheses. Basically any characters of punctuation you cannot have in any of these keywords. It hates them, but it tells you, and then you get the opportunity to correct that. You can also do upload file. I've never actually done that before, where you can upload an Excel file or a CSV file. I just have my files and I just copy and paste. I'm afraid if I upload a file, something weird's going to happen, but you could certainly do that. You know, you're
probably right. Something will happen.
Yeah. So, you know, and targeting, space odysseys for middle grade books or something. So, I don't want to waste it. So I just copy and paste. And like I said, to do one ad, because I've done all my stuff before. So I have all my ad hooks all done and I have my list and I just take it out. So I'm not writing them individually. And I have all my keywords and all my categories and everything all on my little spreadsheets. So for me to make ads for all three. So I every week, I do 15 ads, but I'm using the same keywords. I'm using the same everything. And by the way, international ads, you're not allowed to put copy on. So that saves, 1 second of time. But that's the way that goes. So it takes me about 2 hours a week to do ads because I've done all the homework.
So let me ask you, Suzanne, I mean, this is all fascinating and I haven't done it. So this is all kind of big picture, what to look forward to. How much do you get from this? I mean, you just like, if you spend, what did you just say? 2 hours?
2 hours a week, just
2 hours a
on the
week.
ads themselves, creating the ads. It's all very, blah, blah, blah. And then
How much do you get? Do you sell 200 books?
No.
Do you sell 3
No,
books?
I sell, right now I have 4 books that are really, let's see, four books that are really actively selling. I have 2 more books, one that doesn't sell at all. And I have to figure out what to do with that book. That was a mistake was my first book. I have 1 book that's a Christmas book that I only sell at Christmas time. I usually sell 1 a month other than Christmas, but and then, so I sell about 30 books and I have about 5,000 page reads a month right now. So, that's what that gets me. People who don't do the ads, and this is what I've seen and been told by other peoples in these groups, don't sell anything. So it's a matter of, and then this is the other thing. The ads, one of the other things is the ads do several things for you. Okay, so everybody has Amazon author page, right? You both have an Amazon author page, you should.
Yeah.
Not yet, but I will.
Yeah, do it right now. Ranking is, again, bot. Amazon is, like the vast frontier. Ranking is how they determine whether they're going to sell your book or not, whether they're going to put your book on the carousels, whether they're going to serve your ads as much, whether they're going to, it's all very incestual. Okay. So rank is how this is determined. Now, rank is done in 2 ways. This is just 1 month. So let's look at all. So see my rank for this book sells very well. I sell 10 to 15 of these books. I sell 10 at least books of this every single month since I published it at the end of November. This book sells very well. And you see, it's really up. This is my best-selling book. And this is my best-selling book. And you can see my rank. I'm out of all Cozy Mysteries, I'm $5.99. This is on $1.99. But categories, this is how categories make a big deal. So for this book, this is my middle grade book. I slipped a little. I was 135 last week. I slipped a little. 190. I'm 190 out of the, so I'm in the bestsellers rank of 190 in children's books on bullying. That's where categories make a big deal because you don't have to be the bestseller in all of middle grade books, but you can be tops in, and this is how you get served more, this is bestsellers rank. So out of all the Kindle store of middle grade books, I'm at 200,000, which isn't actually that bad, but for that, I'm at less. And so that's how and this historical sales rank is the same. See how the little EKG is living? That's how I look at it. This is alive. I'm alive. This is bad. This is not alive. This is alive. And this is what you want to see. Because you're seeing that you're staying consistently in the same areas. And you're towards the top of the sales rank. So that's good. And that's also what it gets you. So like I said, it's very incestual. It gets you all these things. But ultimately, it gets you sales. Because without it, and certainly more sales are better, but without it, you don't do anything. Before I started doing the ads, I was selling maybe 1 a month, maybe 2 a month, and had hardly any page reads. Now, because I'm doing this work, I'm selling more. And, you know, it gets you like I said, the rank, it's all one hand washing the other. The rank helps with other things. You know, I do, like I said, once a week, I'll look at the rank. Once in a week, I'll do look at these. It takes me 5 seconds. I keep an eye on them and go, okay, where am I on? Now, Cozy Mystery is harder because Cozy Mystery doesn't have nearly as many categories as middle grade does. Middle grade has a lot of categories. Cozy Mystery does not. So Cozy Mystery, I'm going to be a little lower. Although 2000 in mystery and anthologies is not that bad, actually. And 2,500, you try and drill it down. You drill it down, you drill it down, you drill it down. You know, you don't have to be the prettiest girl or boy, George, in the whole neighborhood. You just have to be it on your street, or you have to be, you know, you don't have to be the richest person in your neighborhood. You just have to be the richest person on your street. That's the idea.
Right.
And that helps. And like I said, sales rank helps with ads. They all wash the hands. The closer you do to your actual genre of books and authors and keywords, the more the algorithm will favor you, and the more it will reward you. And the more ads you put up there, the more it will reward you. So it's kind of like this big circle of information. But it's been proven that, you know, and everybody, like I said, everybody that's in the program and stuff will say, if you do not do the ads, you will not get anything. Now, is that the only thing I do? No. It's the only ads I do. I tried some Facebook ads. It didn't work. There's a lot of differing opinions whether Facebook ads work or don't work. It depends on genre a lot. There's a lot of things. You know, I do social media. That works some. I do know I've sold some books from social media. But most of my books, and most people say most of your books come from ads. So they say, if you do nothing else, if you don't do social media, if you don't do anything else, do this.
Interesting. I could see you put a lot of effort into all of this.
Well,
No doubt about that. I admire you.
Well, and you know what? It depends on what your goals are. You know, if your goal is, my goal is I just wanted to write a book and have it published, and if nobody ever reads it, I'm okay with that. Some people say, I just wanted to write this memoir and utilize the services of Amazon to have it done. Now, do I expect to ever make a living out of this? Absolutely not. I don't need to. I'm retired. I don't need to. Some people do.
No, you don't need to, but you never know, though.
Well, why not? I mean, to me, and this is, everybody has their own personal opinion about this stuff. For me, you say this a lot, and I always laugh. The best book ever written, never read. You know, I think I'm paraphrasing a little, but you say that. So to me,
the greatest book never solved.
There you go. To me, it all falls down to the tree in the forest.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have the tree and you have the forest,